This year was filled with adversity. COVID-19 devastated this nation, while Trump and Israel devastated the Palestinian people. But against all odds, we at AMP met these challenges head-on. AMP stepped up its leadership role in the broader Palestine solidarity movement. In January, we organized our first ever policy forum, convening approximately 24 people representing key national organizations and influential grassroots leaders in the Palestinian American community to plan a collective strategy to elevate Palestinian rights in the 2020 elections. We made our essential educational programs more accessible by hosting them online. We have hosted more than 20 events covering topics such as the Nakba, Israeli annexation, and Black Lives Matter, with renowned scholars, members of Congress, and activists from all over the world, reaching tens of thousands of people nationwide. We've updated and expanded our campaign this Ramadan to boycott Israeli dates and reached thousands of people nationwide by producing a detailed research paper, creating a hard-hitting video, and publishing a high-profile op-ed in Al Jazeera. We strengthened our advocacy work by coordinating closely with congressional offices to propose cutting and conditioning U.S. funding if Israel illegally annexes additional Palestinian land. This summer, we also launched our Platform for Palestine campaign with Jewish Voice for Peace Action, calling on the Democratic and Republican national conventions to include Palestinian rights in their party's platforms.
Adair Bushi here of the Detroit Lions. As you guys all know, I'm Palestinian and proud. So this year I decided to team up with the American Muslims for Palestine in this year's campaign to support Palestinian rights.
More than 10,000 individuals signed our petition online, the most successful petition in AMP's history. And as Israel increased home demolitions this year, we were key endorsers of congressional letters opposing Israel's illegal acts, including one released recently by Representative Pocan, co-signed by an additional 40 members of Congress. After the horrific killing of George Floyd sparked a national uprising to support Black Lives Matter, AMP took immediate action to support the movement and continued to build on the tradition of Black Palestinian solidarity. AMP's Minnesota chapter led the efforts on the ground to deepen these ties of solidarity.
Our freedom will never be handed to us by our oppressors. We must demand it. We must fight for it.
While on the national level, AMP supported legislative efforts to end police brutality initiated by a monthly series of webinars to increase our community's understanding of anti-Black racism, and hired an experienced organizer in Black Palestinian organizing to produce an oral history project of activists engaged in Black Palestinian solidarity work.
There's a connection between Black folks in Palestine, you know what I'm saying? And of course the Islamic thing being in the mix. Now this is an example. This is what has to happen.
In September, we hosted virtual Palestine Advocacy Days with more than 750 participants from 42 different states, our largest advocacy effort ever.
We have almost 150 confirmed congressional meetings.
We advocated for legislation that holds Israel accountable for its detention and abuse of Palestinian children, and our efforts paid off with more members of Congress sponsoring pro-Palestinian legislation after hearing directly from our constituents.
I'm going to keep working with my colleagues in the Congress to ensure that these issues are addressed in a real, meaningful way.
Our entire week of activities included an intensive legislative advocacy session with expert trainers and a plenary session with 6 members of Congress. Our work is growing, and so is our support. More Americans than ever before believe in freedom and justice for Palestine. More congressional representatives are standing up for Palestinian rights. Our work is being recognized and respected.
I want to give a very special thanks to the American Muslims for Palestine for being such a fantastic partner and ally.
And with that, I just want to thank all of you so much again for always speaking truth to power.
Thank you for this timely work to organize and mobilize the power of American Muslims for a noble cause.
And congratulations on your advocacy days.
While the challenges ahead remain great, we've seen how our organization has grown and developed a broad base of support. Through our collective efforts, we will continue to build on this momentum and impact policy further. And we now have the chance to do just that. This election saw the ranks expand of progressive members of Congress who support Palestinian rights. We'll be reaching out to first-term members of Congress with a briefing book and holding customized briefings for them about the policy and legislative issues they'll be confronting relative to Palestine. We are also reaching out to the Biden transition team with packets on steps that the next president can take immediately to reverse the Trump administration's damage, along with a proactive agenda for realizing Palestinian rights and aspirations. To fully take advantage of these opportunities, AMP needs your support to take our advocacy work to the next level in 2021. Our goal is to create an affiliated 501c4 organization which will enable us to devote more time and resources to our advocacy efforts and get involved in the electoral arena to help send more people to Congress who support Palestinian rights. Against all odds, AMP is growing and becoming more effective. With the will of Allah and with your support, we are poised to succeed. Nothing short of that. The future will favor Palestine, but that cannot happen without investing in it now. Your contributions allow us to continue taking action toward justice and liberation. Help support AMP.